Hello everyone and welcome to the ZeldaCast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by Allison Aletha. What is going on, Al? How are you?
I'm okay.
Just
I
okay?
was telling I was telling you that, like, before we started the show, that the weather's been kind of crap, and it's like really kind of affecting me. I'm starting to get that SAD, the seasonal depression. So I'm just okay today. But it was a nice kind of mellow weekend. I have a long weekend coming up. I think you do too.
I do too. We
But
call
you
it
have a
Family Day
Oh,
here.
I think ours is President's Day. But you have a lot of other stuff going on this upcoming week, so
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. I do. Yeah, I'm kind of with you to be honest. Like I woke up today. I felt horrible. Like my nose is just like running. My eyes are all gross and like ugh. So everybody. Man, I'm sorry in advance, guys. I'm probably gonna sound like a gross mess today, but I'm gonna power through because I am gonna be missing next week, and I didn't want to take another 2 week hiatus here. So yes, I'm trying to power through as best as I can, but whew, yeah, it's been a rough morning over in the Spiteri
Mhm.
household for me, that's for sure. But yes, indeed,
Sorry to hear
I
that.
I am going to be off the show next week, and I don't know if you can see this, Al, but I'm wearing a lovely Omega Metroid Pride shirt, which is going to be tied into what we're doing next week. We're, of course, as we mentioned last week, the Omega Metroid Charity Marathon 2025 in support of the Trevor Project starts in 2 days from when everybody is listening to this. So it starts 8 a.m. Mountain Pacific, Mountain Time, Mountain Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And we are streaming 14 hours a day for like 5 days in a row. So the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. We are playing every single Metroid game ever released, and then some. We're playing some fun ROM hacks. We're playing some fun gimmick games. We're doing some trivia. Playing a little bit of Smash Bros. It's gonna be a really fun time. Raising money for a great cause. I plugged it last week, but I mean, you know me, I can't go a week without plugging something here. So I hope to see a lot of people that tune into our content. It'd be so awesome if you could check out the Omega Metroid charity marathon. It's gonna be streaming over on the Omega Metroid YouTube page. So go like and subscribe, and you won't miss any of the new games going live. It's gonna be a blast. We have races, we have fun gimmicks, we have donation incentives. There is that mystery title, which has still yet to be revealed, Al.
Oh.
The mystery title that is our donation incentive. That if we raise enough money, we have to play this title. And
Oh,
the only
no.
information I was given is that I would not like it. I don't know. They wouldn't tell me anything else about it, but it's gonna be really fun, and I hope to see a lot of people there. And Al
Mhm.
is gonna be there too.
I will be there on Saturday the 15th, bright and early, 7 a.m. my time, Pacific time, but that's 8 a.m.
That's right.
Mountain time.
That's right.
Um, yeah, for some A Link to the Past and I think Super Metroid, right? Like
Yeah, it's
conversion happening.
it's like a cross-world kind of thing where like it's pretty fun actually. You're playing A Link to the Past and you walk into like the witch's hut or something like that, and instead of going into the hut, all of a sudden your Samus exiting out of a door in Brinstar or something like that, and vice
Mhm.
versa. And like the Zelda items are found in the Metroid world. The Metroid items are found in the Zelda world. So it's really fun actually. It's a really kind of cool cross-world randomizer. I've dabbled in with it a few times, and I knew that like we had to do something Zelda
Mhm.
Metroid related, right? Because like I mean,
Yeah. Sure.
just fits like a glove.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Sister
fun.
games, sister podcasts. Yeah. I think I'm excited to see that. Is it like leveled accurately? Like say you go into like I don't know, the first dungeon of Zelda and then do you go into like the first area of Super Metroid?
Kind of,
Or
yeah.
could you like wind up like fighting Mother Brain at the beginning?
No, like the game still progresses the same way, but like
Okay.
the items you get, I mean, that could be, that's totally random. Like it
Okay.
we'll see what those look like.
Mhm.
So like I want to say when I played it last, like I didn't get like a sword for like forever.
Ooh.
So maybe I'll adjust that actually. Maybe I'll adjust that to make sure that we get the sword right away. But Yeah, it's a really fun game actually, and it's gonna be I'm gonna be relying a lot on you and particularly Moss to tell us where to go on the Link to the Past side, since
Oh,
that's
I don't
fuzzy over
know
on my
why
end.
you're relying on me. I haven't played The Link to the Past as long as you, probably as long as you have, but if Mossies is there, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that will be okay. We'll see.
My
We'll see how it
commentary
goes.
there is to be lost and amazed by what is happening. That's why I'm there.
Hey, and sometimes that is all you need. So that's awesome. If anybody digs this Pride shirt, which I have to say I think
It's
looks
pretty
really
cool.
slick.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice. It just came in. I'm having, as you know, Al, we're having an issue selling them in the right
Oh, yeah.
way.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't seem like sus, where it'd have to be like, e-transfer me money and then I would e-transfer that to the to the charity. That just seems like sus, and we don't want to do that. So,
Yeah.
as of right now, we are not selling the shirts, but we are going to be giving some away.
Okay.
Okay,
Fair enough.
so we're gonna give some away during the marathon, and all you got to do to enter is donate $5. If you
There
donate
you go.
$5, you're entered to win. If you donate $10, you're entered to win twice, etc., etc., etc. There is a Pride version. There's a trans version. So yeah, they're cool shirts, cool designs. And we're gonna be giving them away. And you know what? Like I said, you donate, and it goes to a great cause. And even if you don't win, you can feel good about it. So yeah, I hope to see a lot of people there on this Wednesday. And I will be kicking off the festivities on Wednesday, actually. So I'll be there bright and early. But I actually won't be there for most of the day afterwards.
Hmm.
Doom is going to be running Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which is like an 8-hour monster. So
Oof.
I'll probably be dropping in to do commentary, but I won't be actually playing.
Okay.
Thank
There you go.
goodness. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. One game, Allison, that I will be playing on this marathon is Metroid Blast. And for anybody that doesn't know, Metroid Blast is the Nintendo Land minigame that you can play. And the gimmick of that game is you fly around in a ship, you shoot creatures. You actually end up fighting Kraid and you end up fighting Ridley, which is really fun. And I'm going to be playing that with Sam, and
Hmm.
we're going to be doing it together. And I was just like, I was having like a pretty good time actually with Metroid Blast, and I was like, this isn't like that. This isn't that bad. I know a lot of people dunk on Nintendo Land, but I was like, this isn't that bad. So I was like,
Hmm.
I was feeling pretty good about Nintendo Land, and I was like, you know what, it's time for. It's been, I mean, we were just talking about it. Like, it's been 8 years of this podcast, and we have never, not once, talked about Battle Quest, the Zelda Nintendo Land game. And I was like, gosh darn it, I've got, I got my Wii U, and I got a damp paper towel, and I washed away the thick layer of dust that was on it. I plugged in my Wii U gamepad, needed to charge for like 3 days, but then it finally worked.
Yeah.
And I got a fresh set of batteries for my Wiimote, and I was like, okay, I think we're ready to play Battle Quest. The Wii U is functional. It's now or never. And I got to be honest with you, Al. I almost wish that it was never, because I I went in pretty high hopes with Battle Quest, because I was like,
Yeah.
Metroid Blast has been fun. Like, it's not perfect, of course, but like it's
Hmm.
fun. It's a fun game. And I don't know if I felt that way about Battle Quest. And I tried. I tried like every single mode. I tried every single control scheme. I tried every single like everything. And I was just like, this kind of stinks. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, I think it kind of stinks. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say that I had a great time with it, unfortunately, which I really was expecting to like have a fun, not even just like wow, this is fantastic, but like, this is okay. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I even got there. I hate to say it.
Yeah. I um I don't know if anybody could tell when you announced that we were doing it last week on the episode, and I was like, "Oh, yay." I was like, "You're going to make me break out my Wii U." And I didn't want to be negative, but like that's kind of how I feel about it too. I played it in the past with my brothers cuz we played Nintendo Land together and like at party scenes or whatever. But I also played it at the marathon, and I can't remember fully who was on my team. I think it was Catherine, maybe Alex, maybe Rachel and I were all in there together, and like of course, this is one of those things at the marathon where you kind of like trade off with people, you
Yeah.
know? But even where I was at in my section, it was pretty rough. It was like one of those windy levels.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I was like, there's like four of us. So why is this so bad? You know? It was kind of a rough time. And I don't know. I, I don't want to say like it's a horrible thing. Like when you really look at it, like it's fun. It's like cute. The designs are really interesting. And I'm sure we'll get into that. But like, it kind of gets a little tough. I don't know how else to explain it. Like there's hordes of enemies. Sometimes there's like the bow person can't keep up with the sword
Right.
people, and yeah. So it's a little harder. And I'm not the best at video games, so it's just like I always thought that was kind of a me thing, but it's good to hear and be validated that you weren't feeling it either.
You know, I guess for me, it's just like it wasn't fun. You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the crux of it, which sounds like incredibly simple to say, but I mean like that's kind of the thing, and like yeah, we'll talk about some of the different like levels and stuff like that, and you know what, I also will admit, so I guys, I tried, but I didn't finish Battle Quest. I got up to like level 8, and I
Hmm.
was just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore because
I can't
it just
suffer
wasn't
anymore.
fun. Um, so and for a couple reasons, like so I don't know about you, but I started off playing as the archer, and by
Mhm.
the way, like I had played Nintendo Land when it like came out, like when I bought my Wii U, and I didn't buy a new Wii U, by the way. I bought it off of a friend who was just like, this thing sucks in like 2013
Oh,
and wanting to sell it, and I was like,
yeah.
I'll take it, like sure. It was like it's dirt cheap, and I hadn't bought a Wii U either because there was nothing for it that it really was for me at the time.
Hmm.
And so I played a little bit I think I played a little bit of each game actually, just to see kind of what they were all about. And generally speaking, I want to play with the gamepad, kind of like what the the hook of the Wii U is.
Right.
And the thing about playing on the gamepad with Battle Quest is like there are all of these buttons and touchscreen functionality and like all this stuff on the gamepad, and like you have three buttons to choose from, and that's it. And
Hmm.
you walk forward basically like automatically. You can strafe left or right, like sure, but you're on rails. It's a set path, um, and all you do is you fire bow and arrows. You put it back, you fire, you put your Wii U gamepad down. After it's over, you flip it back up, you fire, and it's like this isn't like super engaging. Like I'm
Hmm.
like yeah, there's some stuff that you could do, like you could charge up your arrows or whatever, and like you have a little bit more precision with the with the shots that you're firing, but like it's not incredibly engaging gameplay, which can be overcome if there is engaging level design, which there
Hmm.
isn't, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't really think that controlling the archer was all that fun, and I think that controlling the sword fighter was actually worse. I
Yeah,
don't know.
so
What did you prefer?
I think I preferred the Archer. I mostly because so it's very like Skyward Sword coded with your bow and with your sword. More so with the
Yeah,
sword because you have to use the Wiimote, but like with the gamepad, you use the gyroscope to aim. You have a little bit more precision. You can kind of like stay back a little bit and get the snipers that are there's like sniper bokoblins in higher places, or
yeah,
there's like bokoblins with bombs, and you could shoot them, and they'll drop the bombs, blow up the horde of bokoblins. But like, so I kind of like the strategy of it, but you really have to like teamwork because you got the sword players that are over here trying that you could do like a Skyward Strike just like in Skyward Sword. So they're
yeah,
trying to like gear up their swords or like spin attack or whatever, and there's like hordes of monsters, so you have to coordinate with the bow person to like kind of help in the background. And yeah, it definitely takes some teamwork. I haven't played it single player. I don't know if it'd be easier or not easier. I played it with my brother this last time, and I also did not finish it, but I did watch a full, complete like playthrough of all 14 levels. So, and there's some people like are really good. Like the person that I watched, they were like good at it. They got mastery on every level. So, I
crazy.
mean that's impressive.
Yeah,
But I mean, I kind of agree. It's more the game is more fun to look at and listen to than play. I feel like those were my I like look like the the art style of it, and I like the music. But everything else was kind of like, oh my god, I'm not having a fun time.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I would agree with you about fun to look at or listen, to be honest. But we'll get there. But
Yeah.
like for me, like I don't know. I think I'd probably I'd probably say like I prefer the archer in terms of like, because there's more for you to do. Like I don't like
Hmm.
gyro controls at all, but at least you can like move your gamepad to like have a little bit of interaction with what you're doing.
Hmm.
Um, I like the thing about playing sword, and I played single player archer, I played single player sword fighter, I played multiplayer archer, multiplayer sword fighter. So like I kind of
Hmm.
got a little bit of everything. Um, I think that like sword fighter is actually easier to like progress through the levels with, because you have, I don't know, like a more direct weapon, I guess, and a more direct way to
Hmm.
block. But I feel like the gameplay is even less like fun. Like it's not very exciting at all, because like you basically, like, again, the game moves for you. So like you're basically just going up and waggling your Wiimote for most of the
Hmm.
gameplay. Like there's a few enemies where, yeah, you need to like slash in a certain direction, like in Skyward Sword, but like there's not that many. And and like, so there is like the dead man's volley, which shows up, which is actually incredibly frustrating in this game too, because there's no like rhythm to how fast each set, like each volley is like its own speed, and you have to adjust, which is like super annoying, rather than like gradually increasing speed like we're used to.
Hmm.
But that's another discussion. But like, yeah, so like there's really nothing for you to do. You just like, your character just moves, you waggle the Wiimote, and you move on, and that's kind of it.
I mean, I would say there's more strategy because like the Bokoblin, it's very Skyward Sword coded. So like the Bokoblins will block with their shields wherever you're kind of pointing your sword, just like they do in Skyward Sword. There's the like the tech tykes where you can like you have to slash a certain way to kill them. Um, when you're fighting like Ganon, he has like those magic balls that you have to slash at a certain direction.
And you know what? To be fair, I
So
did not get to Ganon, so I shouldn't
yeah,
say.
I mean, so there's like there is some strategy to it, but I feel like there's way more strategy to the bow when you're using the bow and being able to like scope out the area and see
Yeah,
how you can help the people with the swords.
yeah, I think so. And like, I don't know. I think if you could just freely roam, I
Mhm.
think it might be a different story, because then you kind of feel a little bit more engaged. You kind of feel like you have a little bit more like agency over what your character does. Because there's like lots of times, particularly with the bow fighter, where like, you're like on your set path, and like there's like four moblins rushing towards you, and it's like, man, I want to back up and retreat a little bit, and you can't do it. Like, you
Yeah.
can't move
Yeah.
backwards. You just
True.
have to stand there and get your ass kicked by them, and it's just like, this sucks. Like, I
Yeah.
wish that I could move around, or like, if you're in sword fighter form, like, try and get behind an enemy or something like that. Like,
Mhm.
there's lots of different things that like, it's like, man, I wish I could just move on my own, and I
Mhm.
don't know why you can't. It seems like a weird choice that you can't do that. Maybe because like the dual analog of like the archer, but like, again, like there's like all these other buttons that you could have just assigned your, you know what I mean, your fire to.
Mhm.
Like, it's a weird choice, I feel like, and I don't quite
Yeah.
understand it.
And I'm also sitting here thinking like maybe we're looking too deep slash complaining too much about a very simple like arcadey
Sure.
like game in Nintendo Land. But like I get where you're coming from. It would be nice to have some free roaming, but like I feel like that's what makes it for challenging for players. Like maybe they like that challenge where you're just moving, so you just got to go and you have to go with the flow. Personally, I'm not about that. I don't really like challenge. I don't really like suffering. So, yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from.
I mean, like, I actually think it's more challenging that you can't like free roam. You know what I mean? Because like you're just sitting
No, that's
there,
what I'm saying. Like it's
right?
the challenge, and people might like that. Might like being like forced through. But then I feel like, oh, I could just run through these enemies and like move forward and not have to worry about them. You know?
Well, and that's the thing too about like sword fighter form, which I was gonna get to, is just like it. I think it's challenging on the archer side that you can't run away, but then you flip it around, and on sword fighter form, it's just like, if all these enemies rush to you, all you got to do is just like with your remote back and forth, left and right, and it's just like they're all dead. So
Hmm.
it's not very engaging, and maybe like, just to set just to put where my expectations were coming in. Like, yes, I was not expecting greatness out of this game, right? Like, I don't think anybody is. It's a small little mini game, but like, I think that like some of the other games that you could play are pretty fun, and I played a few of them, which maybe we'll talk about at the end here. But like, I think Metroid Blast is like pretty fun. Like, it's a pretty fun looking game, and it's fun to play. It's fun to control. For what it is, like, it's a pretty good time, and I didn't feel the same way about Battle Quest in terms of the gameplay, which really kind of sinks it for me, unfortunately. And I guess the other thing that we should talk about too, we mentioned it earlier, is like I said, like, I feel like you can overcome bad gameplay if you have really good level design. I don't think this is really good level design, like, at all.
Yeah, the levels are, they're pretty like straightforward. Again, you're like on a rail, so they guides you through. There's no way to explore, there's no way to really like, I don't know, just there's no way to explore it and like have fun with it. You just go through the levels. They're all really similar. You just like have a set path. You have all these hordes of enemies. Sometimes there's a new enemy that'll pop up, like the Skulltulas or the Stalfos, which is fine. It adds a little bit extra challenge. But yeah, there's like 9 main levels and then like 5 bonus levels, and by the 5 bonus levels, it's all the same. So
I would
it's
even
not
say, like,
as
at level 5, it's like all this, like, and I'm talking about like the aesthetic, because like you go, there's like the wood part, there's like a temple part, there's like a dark foresty kind of part, and there's like the
I
Gerudo
love
windy
how
part.
it's like, to the forest temple, to the Death Mountain, to the fire temple. I'm like, they're the same temple. They're very much like Fire Sanctuary from Skyward Sword. That's the kind of vibe I got for. They're all the same.
And a lot of those levels too, by the way, have like everything that I just described. You start off in the forest, you go into the temple, you go into like the desert, and it's just like this is the same pathway and the same level. So it's just like, okay.
There's like, it's kind of funny. It follows like quote unquote a story, like like an adventure. But to me, like, this adventure doesn't make any sense. So you start in the grasslands, then you're in the Lost Woods, then you go to the Grasslands Temple, then you're on the road to the Goron Mines. And then from there, you're going to the Forest Temple, which doesn't make any sense.
Heck yeah.
And then you go climb Death Mountain, and then you're on the Gerudo Fortress Trail. Again, doesn't make any sense. And then you go to Ganon's Castle, and then you're storming Ganon's Castle. So it's just like, the path is weird.
It is weird. And you know what? Yes. Yes, of course. This is a Nintendo Land game. So like, we're not looking for greatness here. It is just like kind of uninspiring though. And to be honest with you, actually, I don't feel like any of the levels in any games are particularly inspired. So like, maybe we are just nitpicking a bit here, but I don't know. Like, it is just kind of like, okay, like, it's like, what are the most basic Zelda elements? Like a forest path. Okay, let's put this in. Like some kind of temple that looks generic enough to maybe be the fire, maybe be the earth temple, maybe not the water temple, but you know what I mean. Like, okay, let's put that in. Like a deserty, rocky kind of area that could be Death Mountain, or it could be the Gerudo Desert. Like, okay, let's do that. It's just kind of like, it's all kind of vague enough to like sort of fit, but it does feel pretty uninspired. It feels like going through a dungeon that somebody made in the Chamber Dungeon Maker in Link's Awakening, where it's like, yeah, this doesn't feel like any dungeon in particular, but it is a dungeon.
Somebody worked real hard on it.
You know what? And listen, like, this is clearly like a tech demo showcase, right? I mean, what are we really talking about here? Like, it is what it is, but I don't know. I guess I feel like the levels don't help the gameplay, and the gameplay certainly doesn't help anything else. So you're already kind of behind the curve, whereas like, I would say the levels in Metroid Blast are also pretty uninspired. Like, they got nothing to do with Metroid really, but like, at least like zipping around in your ship is fun, and like some of the enemies that you fight are fun. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the ZeldaCast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the ZeldaCast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.